case you haven't heard about the jury, that's a very special invention of James Williams. If you were not here this morning, James Williams from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum he cannot join us. He's at home with COVID, with no real symptoms, so he's pretty happy. Well, I was pretty happy until I got to know that I was presenting the jury, his little baby, and he told me not to mess it up. Let's see. Here we go. Thank you. I got even help. Look at that. That's perfect. Now I should call. They're not called victims. They're called participants. Oh, okay. I should call the participants for 2 days sessions of the jury. And today's participants are starting Nemanja Nikolic, the EMEA Regional Director of Telesign. Magically will appear now. Oh no, well that's not. You're Chris Pozzi. We already tried. It's so popular. It's so popular. We said, come on.
We can't hear you back there.
Come on inside. You see, that's what happens. The jury is such a popular thing. They all fight to be here. You might have also seen coming in Chris Pozzi, the Partnership Development Manager from, I believe, Infobip. And we have Andy Gladwin. You might have seen him before as well, the Head of Global Go-to-Market from Cheetah Digital. Welcome, all of you. Now, some of you have done it before. Raise your hands if you've played this before. Okay, 2 or 3. Nemanja, I think you're the first one. You will have a special treatment for you, because I should say that the jury has become quite a competitive sport. Some of the people are here have done. There is a semi-professional, league already, and one of the semi-professionals was supposed to be here with us, Ira Cohen, and I think he sends a message, his apologies that he couldn't join because of the issues with COVID and joining from Israel. I believe that's a lie. I think that the pressure of joining today the jury was too much. This is a real important thing, and in case you haven't noticed, look at how serious they look. Anyway, but I know perfectly from James, I think that this is something where you stand up, you sing the song, and then we vote the best. Is that something?
That's the next round, right?
That's the next. That's different. I'm sure that James is now suffering at home. No, I think what we're doing today, we're playing a bit, we're having some fun, but we're talking about some very serious things. We're talking some very serious topics. And half jokingly, we decide that today it's the time for the jury, which is you guys and everybody at home, to decide really what we're going to do about it, if it's a yes or a no. So are you all set up and ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let me immediately change some of the rules. You've got now about 30 seconds. Where's my clock? To actually tell everybody who you are. People might have already told you, the senior know it. And what's your favorite color? So you start now with Andy.
Andy Gladwin. I'm going to go for turquoise today.
Okay, that's good.
30 seconds. So yes, my name is Nemanja Nikolic, coming from Serbia. It's a bit difficult name to pronounce, but I can go by Nemanja as well. It's going to work for everyone here.
Fantastic. We might need, as a mic, you might need to lower your mic and make sure that it's directing you, so we can hear better. Perfect. Chris?
Chris Pozzi from Infobip, formerly of O2. I deal with partnership management for Infobip, so I deal with O2 and BT predominantly.
So, okay, 3 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. Now we'll have lots of watchers. I had watchers, I don't have any more. But I will make sure that you all have 2 minutes to answer in the best and trying to convince the jury out there for your position. Are you all ready to go? Yes, okay. So we go and we start with the first question of today's jury, which should appear on your screen just about now. Maybe could appear on your screen just about now. Yes, it is. I can see it now. Well, number 1, will customers trust SMS as they used to? And has the industry done enough? Oh, that's an interesting question. And we did talk about trust today. So there's definitely a topic, and definitely in the transparency, this is where the name of the next participant speech will be revealed now. Actually, this takes a long time. I'm not doing it on purpose. It really takes a long time. Oops. Oh, Nemanja, that's you. You have 2 minutes, and I hope that we have a clock. It's coming.
we go?
Go.
Cool. So yes, the trust. Basically, to ask ourselves what is the trust and how important it is to this business in this industry. If we take, for example, the retail space and the research that was done by one of the companies that says that 70% of the consumers say that trust today is more important than it was before. It's no different in the SMS space or the messaging space that we are today. If customers, our customers or consumers, end users don't trust us, they won't be using the services that we have right now. They won't be using the CPaaS in the way they are using today. They won't be using the omnichannel in the way they are using today. From at least my own experience and by talking to people from this space as well, only thing we've seen in the past couple of years is simply the increase and the rise of the number of transactions we've seen when it comes to the messaging. If there wasn't for this growth, there definitely isn't a trust that is behind it. That also can be backed by a data provided by a research by Mobile Squared, which says that number of SMS transactions in the messaging space is growing year over year. It was back in 2018, 1.53 trillion of these transactions, and it was expected to be at level of 1.81 by 2023. And if you ask ourselves, or anyone else, could we do better, or can the industry do more? Answer is always yes. But there are some things, very good things that have been done already. And we can talk about the MEF initiative. When it comes to the sender IDs in the United Kingdom, we can talk about Verify SMS, but then were also some of the things that harmed the industry itself, like SIM swap checks, or better to say fraud events, or something more of a SS7 network vulnerabilities. All that combined, I think consumers and customers still trust in the SMS and the messaging space and will continue to use it over the next few years.
I think with your 2 minutes are all. You done?
Yeah.
Well done, we did manage. And I'm actually struggling with all of my watches here. We might have given you 5 more seconds there as a new joiner to start. Now, is the competition heating up? I can see people checking their phones. Yeah, you're ready? Some last minute check on your speech? Because Chris Posse is next.
All right, good. Tell me when to start.
Okay, well, wait, actually, let's do it professionally because now the real watch is starting and they're pressing the button now.
Okay, let's go. I was really surprised to read, I think it was in the summer, that only 30% of the population in the UK know what smishing is still, which means that not many people still understand the threat of smishing. So if we're talking about trust in a consumer context, I think smishing is probably the biggest threat to trust that SMS has. That smishing, is the biggest threat to trust that SMS has. There is a good concerted effort, I think, by the MEF and by MNOs and aggregators such as Infobip and the others to try to combat it, and that's really going to be the only way to keep high levels of trust within SMS as a channel. We saw a 400% increase in smishing messages in 2020. It seems to be that the parcel scams made way for COVID and NHS-related scams. You might have seen one. There was one I thought was quite inventive that during the lockdown that said, we noticed you've left your house today. Now, everybody had to leave their house, more or less, to go and buy something in the shops or go for a walk or whatever. So they targeted everybody with that message. We're going to see an awful lot more of those in the coming months and years, I would expect as well. So COVID smishing cases are obviously very, very high. On the positive side, there are lots of things being done. Networks are introducing messaging firewalls. Aggregators are starting to develop solutions to detect spam and smishing to try to reduce the amount that is being delivered. So trust in SMS, in my opinion, is still high, but we are approaching a crunch point with the massive increase in smishing messages over the last year, 18 months. SMS is far more personal than any other form of comms, and we have to keep it that way.
And that's it. On the spot. Well done. You had your vote. Well done. Perfect. So, according to... I'm sorry, I need to stop this. According to the last... There was a lot of suspense, yes, on this one, I'm sure. We're doing it for fun. Here it is. It is correct. It's Andy Gladwin, the third one, and the last one missing. So, Andy, you have 2 minutes. Wait for my start. Go, you. Look how professional. They all have their own timers. And they don't trust me for good reason. But here we go. 1, 2, 3. It's a start.
Okay, so with rapid growth, it's inevitable that there's going to be much more fraud. It becomes a greater playground for fraudsters to operate within. What is trust, though? Trust is a belief in the reliability or truth of something. And I'd say that consumers and enterprises still have the belief of the reliability of SMS, where they continue to use it and see value in it. However, the truth often comes through distorted or malicious. And with that, that starts to impact trust. Consumer Group Which stated that 35% of customers in the UK who have received a scam message will have an impact to their relationship with that brand going forward, even though that scam has not directly come from that brand. It's a serious issue that's actually outside of the control of the enterprises who are often affected. Now, there's been great effort from operators, firewall companies, aggregators, industry bodies such as MEF, the Code of Conduct, the anti-fraud policies, and regulators. But we see this issue varying from market to market. Policies are not put in place in the same way from country to country, so where you have whitelisting, pre-registration, removal of hyperlinks, all of these things start to reduce the amount of fraud. However, it's a swap-off for removing the autonomy, the barriers to entry in terms of more administration, and lack of freedom to open up new campaigns as you go. And that's a way off the industry needs to think about. SMS, I think, still holds a lot of trust. There is more of a threat right now, but it's in a better place than other channels where there have been more data breaches, data policy issues, and scamming history. But I say this, SMS is a powerful channel. As Batman said, with great power comes great responsibility, and I think it's us as an industry to ensure we deliver on that responsibility.
Well done. We've 6 seconds to spare. Very well done. We've seen it happening. Now, this is the part where we're actually going to ask you to do some work, and you have 60 seconds. I now see a screen, on the screen something. It's 60 seconds to vote. Is that correct? That's how proficient I am. You have to be quick. Now let's start with you. How are we going to do it? On the screen, you might have your different positions. Here you have no buttons, but you got number 1, number 2, and number 3 of our participants. Who would like to? Well, that's gone. Who would like to go for number 1? And you raise your hand and be counted. Whoa. That worked. Okay, that's enough. You've been counted. And number 2, Nemanja, can you raise your hand? And oh, we got that. Here we go. And number 3, Chris Posey. Here we go. Be counted. But definitely, trust is an important element for everything we've been talking today. And I hope this is not going to be just the final word unless we have really sorted out. But the jury is important. Whatever you say as a jury will make the answer for today's question. How was it, Nemanja, for the first time? Did you find the pressure of a famous jury?
There is definitely pressure out there, but so far so good.
So far so good. Good. That's good. Now, 6 seconds. You really have to make up your mind now. Tell us, or otherwise we will count the votes. Now, we are counting the votes. It's slightly more complicated this time, as we have to count them online. It's really serious stuff. And somebody magically will tell me over here. Oh, we're waiting for the online.
That's what's in the room so far.
Oh, okay, we got 1. I'll have to do additions. That's very interesting.
And do you have the online?
I don't have the online yet. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoy everything we're doing now transparently. We believe in transparency. Just to show James how good he is at home when he does it all. It makes it look so easy. There we go. Oh, we got some results. There we go. It is. Ooh, so how do I add all of this together? Where's your phone?
So, perhaps? You've got a pen?
Have you all got... Oh, you look, they came prepared. They have a pen.
Oh, I can give you a pen. There's a pen here, Darren.
That looks like a nice pen as well. Yes, we'll give you one of these in return, don't worry.
That's the online.
So, okay, here we go. Number one, and this is the results. Does anybody from the public want to say something about trust? We'll give you 50 seconds. Come on.
So that's online.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh,
And then this is in the room.
Okay.
There's a clear winner there.
No, I can't see exactly because we need to count off all of them. My God, I am so... Ooh. I think the public at home and the public here. But anyway, so we're adding now. That's one. That's the second one. Nobody has got an opinion on trust. After the entire day, raise your hand. Don't be shy. No? Okay. We need a
The
microphone
votes have
for
been
you,
counted. I cannot take
please
that back.
deliver the microphone, and I think there are going to be some real challenges coming for. But here we go. Well, did you get a comment? But I got the results meanwhile, and I'm going to give back the pen because let's not make a precedence. So for everybody at home and everybody here, we have the results of the jury. Who has been the best in articulating your opinions regarding customer trust on SMS, and are we going back to the trust that they used to have, or has the industry done enough? Starting from the lower end of our ranking, Chris has got 32. Well done, Chris. Nemanja, 32 as well. Well done. And with 62 points, we have a clear winner. Well done to Andy. Well done. And he did have those additional 6 seconds, which he didn't use. So, okay, we're getting to it, and I'm getting better in organizing all my different screens, believe it or not. So all of a sudden, we're going to be asking you the next questions, which is, why do only 3% of registered businesses use A2P mobile messaging today? Oh, something we have discussed since the beginning, and even in the last questions, which is, call it education of the enterprises or something else. But there's more that could happen there. Now, I hope you all have your answers ready. The first to go will be Andy Gladwin. Andy, and I can show it, but it'll be too far from a camera. Here we go, Andy. And you're starting now.
So, firstly, good news. There's been significant growth. Mobile Squared had it at 1 million new businesses using SMS for the first time in 2020. But as we look at how to take the 97%, or I think it was corrected to 95% in a session earlier, of businesses that aren't using it, you really need to look at the smaller businesses. 97% or more businesses in the EU, Australasia, North America have less than 50 employees. And so when we look at addressing this question, you need to look at smaller businesses and how we can break in. Now, they have some unique differentiators in terms of how they operate. They may be young in their sophistication, so primarily using print and voice and radio. And when they look at their first exploration into digital, it may not be that they go straight for SMS, but email may be the first hurdle. They're not going to have the opportunity to necessarily have the budget for an omni-channel environment where you can just bolt on text messaging. So with this, you also have the issue of, okay, well, what if they were to develop themselves? That capability is often not there. This is something that is nuanced in terms of technology requirements, but also an understanding of what's needed. Now, there was a great stat earlier of the reduction of marketing budgets proportionally as size of company decreases. And again, when you look at what are the use cases that could be used by different enterprises, the smaller the enterprise, the less liquidity they have to be putting in here and testing new channels. So Mavinia had a great slide earlier that touched on how can you go into marketing as a service and provide education, because even with the largest organizations we work with, we see issues with regulation, best practice and value. This is an exciting opportunity for us. For me, what we need to be doing is focusing on the small businesses, and education is first to break in. Thank you.
Thank you. 1 second to go. Perfect. Now, let's go for the second speech of the topic, A2P and businesses. Chris Posey, you are number 2.
I've always thought we tend to live in a little bit of a bubble within our industry in the UK, and the same sort of clients in banking and retail, for example, every 2 to 3 years, they'll go to RFP and move to one of your biggest competitors, and then you might get them back in 2 to 3 years' time. We're always talking about the same set of clients, the 97%, if you like, sorry, the 3% of registered businesses that are actually using A2P. It's the 97% that we actually want to be going after and want to be addressing. Growth is still very good within that 3% of 10 to 15% a year, volumes year on year. The projections, depending on who you read and who you believe, are that the SMS industry is going to double by 2025. So the future is still looking promising, but converting those 97% is really what aggregators are doing, and it's a responsibility of aggregators to try to do. A retailer that I was talking to fairly recently, who this is a national retailer, they've never sent any SMS or used SMS to market to their customers or communicate with their customers in any way. They were telling me, oh, we ran a trial in 2014 to 10,000 customers, but it was a bit of a disaster. The delivery rates were really low. And I said, how did you collect the mobile data and how old was it? Oh, we collected it in store over a period of about 15 years. So you can imagine that if they were trying to contact customers using numbers 15 years old, they're not going to have a very good delivery rate anyway. And that also just raises a really important point. A lot of retailers, just over this weekend, I was looking to buy various different gifts online during the Black Friday weekend. On 5 different retailers' websites, all 5 of them required an email address. Only one of them required your phone number. So the quality of the data, I think a lot of retailers don't gather the data that they need to be gathering, especially among smaller organisations.
And unfortunately, it's the end for you.
I was just about done, that's fine.
But you almost got there.
Right.
Well, and as we do it all the time, James teaches, we'll have to go and check that nothing happens on these important tickets here. And if this one reads...
if my name pops up.
Well, you ready to go? 3, 2, 1.
Yes. When I heard for the first time that only 3% of registered businesses are actually using mobile messaging today, I was really stunned. Today I heard it's actually 5%, which seems a bit more comforting. Overall, if you just think from that perspective, we are doing a really good job being an industry of probably $18 billion of revenue income for only 3 or 5% of the registered businesses using the service. You can only imagine how quickly and how fast the business or the industry can grow, having in mind these things. But as coming from Telesign and working with some of the largest enterprises here in Europe, I had a couple of conversations with them on why they are not using more of the SMS or more of the messaging service today. And somehow 3 main reasons always come up. First is cost. Then the second one is coming down to the lack of some sort of rich content features that could be found in some other channels. And then most recently, there are some privacy concerns as well around some of these things. If you look from the cost perspective, you will see countries in the world where even though the ROI of the overall usage of the SMS and messaging is really good, fees are going up by 100 or 300% week over week. You'll see some countries where basically there is a 6 months increase or increase every 6 months when it comes to the SMS price. In some countries, as we like to joke internally, you can actually buy a bottle of water for the same price for which an enterprise can send an SMS to its consumer. Right? We're talking about some really high numbers here. And then every business, not only business but consumers as well, want to use the latest technology and want to use something that is rich in content, right? We don't stay in line to buy Nokia 3310, we stay in line to buy iPhone 13. But overall, the SMS has its reach and can reach every single phone number.
And I'm afraid
in the world.
we'll have to stop you there.
Yeah.
We are so mean I'm more than anybody else. But thank you for the three of you. And actually, isn't these one of the key questions to answer as an industry, really, and is going to haunt us, you know, the 3 or 5%, and what are the issues, what are the implications of the budget, the quality of data that we use, everything. Plenty, we have plenty to talk about. 2 minutes, it's very mean for us to ask you that, but now we're going to ask you in 6 seconds to make a decision of which one of this speech was better. If you are online, please do use those buttons that are equivalent to all of those names we got here. Andy, Chris, Nemanja. And meanwhile, if you are staying with us, it's time for you to be active. Bit of exercise, raise your hand. Who should we go first? This time it's for Chris. So if you think that Chris was the first, raise your hand and vote for Chris. They can see you. They will hate you later. Don't worry. Count it all. And now it's time for going for, I think it was Andy. Andy's going second. Vote for Andy. Raise your hand and be happy. And there we go. And then doesn't finish here. We've got Nemanja. Nemanja, very good. Vote for Nemanja. That's an improvement. Nemanja, you're warming up the audience, huh? You're definitely warming up. But remember, the game is not finished until we got the rest of the people. This morning we had lots of them, so all of them wait for the last 12 seconds, 11 seconds for them to vote. And then we just need about 4 to 5 minutes for me to do free calculation. Addition was never one of my strongest skills, but we'll get there. So let's have a look at the... We have our assistants. I'll turn around. Oh, yes. We have some numbers.
In the room?
Well, we have one from a room next to thank you very much. So I'm going to add them here. And, oh, okay, I can see something appearing there. And in terms of online, we got them already. Okay. Percentage, yes. We do mix and match. Okay. Thank you. Oh, look at this. Whoa, I think things are moving. Guys, I would worry. This could be an open championship. And then finally, sorry. Oh, yeah, I got it. Now, the magic. Talking about artificial intelligence. Now, 6 plus 9. Ooh. Okay, listen to this. I need to check, double check, triple check. But it is what it is. The jury has spoken. And here is the verdict. Starting from the lowest but still lovable results. With 23 points, Andy. Ooh.
Name Batman.
Well done. And in second position, the still honorable position, goes to 45 points. Chris. Well done, Chris. And Nemanja, you won them over online. It was your magic smile as well as the great words. I don't know, but online really worked. Well done, with 55 points. Okay, great. Oh my God, all of these calculations starting to feel the pressure. And you might feel the pressure because this is the third and the last of the question. So if you want to, you're probably already calculating where you are, but if you want to turn things around, that's the time to win them over. The final, very important. Okay, so here it is for the third questions. Will messaging simply be absorbed into a richer customer journey as technology develops? Oh, wow, we're looking into the future. What's going to be? Today's, basket is messaging, but something else might be lurking there. And for your questions, we're looking at, you're going to have 2 minutes, but we need to decide who goes first. And I need to set up my very scientific 2 minutes countdown. I'm ready. Give it a good of a mix. Okay. And Chris, you're going first again. It is. So starting on my 2. 1, 2.
I think there'll always be a place for SMS and messaging-only solutions and applications. Discussions that we have with enterprises and MNOs now We know that a lot of them are looking at the entire customer journey as opposed to just looking at specific channels to communicate with customers. From the moment the customer first makes contact with the organisation, in fact they might not even be a customer, it might be a sales inquiry, through to the individual then becoming a customer, all the way through to support of that customer in the future. They're looking at every single element, every single touch point that that customer has with their organisation, and most importantly they want to be able to communicate to that customer through the customer's preferred channel. It doesn't necessarily have to be SMS anymore. They want it to be completely seamless. Very few organisations today are actually doing this or doing this well. This is something that's new and it's going to be spoken an awful lot about over the coming years. But that's really where enterprises, we see enterprises, that's where they really want to get to today. So tying it all, any messaging channel and tying all messaging channels into the overall customer journey is the most important thing. The bigger question is how you get these organisations to move from messaging and standalone applications into this completely seamless customer support, sales journey over the channel that the customer wants. That's really sort of the next bigger discussion that aggregators need to have with their customers and with enterprises. The most important thing is the ability to measure metrics here. Ultimately, customer satisfaction scores and reduced churn are the two that enterprises really talk to us about, and solutions that aggregators are building should be centred around customer satisfaction and reducing churn, regardless of the messaging channel.
And that will be it. Thank you, Chris. Well done. Using exactly the 2 minutes. Okay, we got a second. And I should really show them to all of you. And, there it is. Nemanja, that's you. And wait. Starting at 3. 1, 2, 3.
I can start this one by saying Merry Christmas. First, there are 2 reasons, right? First, we are getting into the holiday season. It's almost early December, and it makes sense to say something like that. The second thing is we'll probably be looking into the 29th anniversary in just a couple of days when the first SMS was actually sent with that exact same content, Merry Christmas. You can only imagine something that has happened 29 years ago for the very first time nowadays competing with something like WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, email. Preferred your way to send probably a message to your friends and family is using audio calls, is using videos, is using pictures, images, links as well. SMS has its own or messaging limitations when it comes to what can be sent or delivered to the other person. But something that SMS has or messaging is its own unique thing, and that is the reach. Only messaging can reach every single subscriber in the world, every single mobile phone number in the world. But not only that, in some countries you can also deliver SMS to the voice over IP phone numbers, and in some countries it could be done also to the landlines as well. Marketers these days, they want to use the latest technology, as we all want, right? And from that perspective, they want to send all these fancy links, they want to send these fancy videos that their marketing team has made and attract their consumers. And there is definitely a big hype over the WhatsApp and other channels that could be used. What will probably happen in the future is that these channels will be cluttered in a way. If you check your SMS inbox today, it's probably completely empty. If you check your email inbox, probably you have hundreds of unread emails. And that's why SMS will have its own unique things.
Well done and well played. We'll discuss it later in the aftermatch, as soon as I can stop these, yes. And now, last but not least, Andrew. You go when I give you a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect. The technology is here today, and it is about adoption. There will, of course, be use cases which are going to be discrete to SMS, but adoptions of journeys is something that we're seeing a great increase across all verticals. 47% of marketers today are using customer journeys to better identify and prioritize customer experiences. Why are they doing this? Because it creates results. Boston Consulting Group say that 20 to 40% increases are found with customer advocacy, a 15 to 25% decrease in marketing costs, and a 10 to 20% increase in revenues when journeys are applied well into marketing events. So what are the key components that are needed to create good journeys? A UI that works, a single customer view, an analytics engine that's going to feed the data back in to continue to personalize, but it needs to be omni-channel. And omni-channel includes messaging. So why is omni-channel here? Well, firstly, it has its distinctive features and values with the immediacy it can offer to provide contextual messaging within journeys, that it's ubiquitous, it can reach any consumer, that it's conversational as these new channels emerge, which also have their own micro-journeys. It caters to people's preferences, who may be asking for email or SMS or push. You have to have the omni-channel environment for all messaging streams to be available. And then finally, you look at how it operates without frictions. Enterprises want to engage with their customers in a frictionless medium. And so you need to be going to the native and preferred channels to be able to create the best transmission of value between you and them. So what do I see? I see that more organizations for this reason are going to be increasing their use of journeys. I see that with this, messaging will be increasingly used as part of this, not exclusively, but I don't like the word that it's going to be absorbed. I like to think of it being enhanced. Thank you.
Through 5 seconds to go. Well done. And that was the last of our 3 answers. Now it's time for your final answers of what's going to happen. So online, if you are watching at home or at work, it's time for you to press that button. Answer that question. Which of these answers was better for you? And if you're here, you can do the same. Now, are you ready to count, Mina? Yes, we're ready. So we start first. Well, again, Chris was first. So if you like the answer from Chris, raise your hand. That's your chance. Oh, here we go. Oh, oops. Seeing the hands. Well done, Chris. And I think in perfect order, I think Emmanuel was next, second. So raise your hand if you're happy with the answer. I should also say, while you do that, well, you know, you were well played. You mentioned the festivity and a Merry Christmas in there. I should have engraced more of the people. Here we go. And then finally, we do have Andy. And Andy, raise your hands if you like Andy's answers. Not the question is the same for everybody. Yeah, there it was. Thank you. And then at home, if you were waiting, you really have the last 10 seconds. You might have to make up your mind. It's all coming. It's time to answer now. And it will be time for me to put it all together. But because there's only 2 seconds left, I can tell you that these situations, I didn't want to say that, to obviously influence these very important situations I'm voting. But where we are right now, okay, sorry, well, I'll write down this for a second. Where are we? Fantastic. Where are we now with the voting? So far, after the first round, we had Andy at 85. And well, don't laugh. This is don't clap. This is the status right now. The real answer will be real status will be later. Then we had Chris with 77, very close. And then we have Anaya with 87, leading. Oh my God, this is very close. Everything could change now. I hope you feel the tension. And you can also smell the beer and the drinks from downstairs. Well, both of them should keep you very tense in what's going to happen next. But meanwhile, I will be doing calculations again. So guys, do relax for a second because oh my God, so we have. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, wow. Ooh, wow. Okay, so please, Matt, thank you very much. So for all of you that cannot wait for hearing the final votes, here we go. As I said, last but not least, was with 61, well, no, with 70 points. Andy, 17 points. Please. Following with 41 points, Chris. Well done, Chris. And Emmanuel leading with 61 points. Well done. Oh. I'm just wondering, you played, I'm not sure this is my first time, just to make sure that everybody will play with a nice card and be nice to you. Okay, here we go. And now, time to come up with the final calculations. Oh my God, these are big numbers I have to calculate in front of you, but I think I'm going to make it. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So, according to my very official machine learning pen, we now have in last position, sorry, Andy with 93 points, but well done. And winning one of those. I mean, great performance still. Second position goes to Chris with 106 points. First position goes to Nemanja. First time, very lucky, or very good, but it's 165 points. I'm very happy to say that this is not a Eurovision song context. None of you would get 0, nil point. No, very well done. All of you, fantastic performance, great answers. Thanks all for, it might be tongue-in-cheek, we might have a bit of fun, but your answers are real and it's very important. And the debate is still happening out there. However, the jury has spoken, so we now have a winner. We'll wait until tomorrow when more victims will come and join us. But right now, it's a thank you again from you for participating. It's thanks for you all at home and here, or the office and here, for playing with us. And if you are at home, I'd like to see you all tomorrow. Join us online again for another full day of events. Before you do that, two things are happening. Close your eyes if you're online, because you will not see that for the first time we have real prices. We have no expenses. We are in London and we went to the most expensive place in London to go and find biscuits. Yes, we still have it's still a limited budget, but here we go, biscuits and tea to Nemanja. Here we go. And more of that will come later, more debate, more fun. And for tonight, if you're here, please join us downstairs where we have some special announcement. And downstairs, yes, and we're going to have some drinks and some social events, including a presentation from Mobile Messaging Map IQ. And I think that terminates everything for me. I'd like to say thanks today as well from Team Green. Has been our master of ceremonies. He didn't know that 48 hours ago, but he did a fantastic job. And tomorrow, he will come back. So thank you, Team Green. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to you all. And if you're here with us, come and stay for one more drink. Thank you. Bye-bye.